Welcome back. As earlier we said, Israeli bullying and the aggression inside the region, of course, backed by its allies, and of course that resulted in Israeli escalation in tensions between Israel and Iran, and a possible attack was taken overnight over Iran. Of course, reports came saying, and of course this has repercussions over region. And for more details over that, discussing it with our dear guest over the phone live, of course, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good morning, Ambassador Bayoumi.
Good morning, good morning. How are you?
How are you doing, sir? First of all, how do you assess the situation inside the Middle East with the expansion of the tensions outside the Palestinian territory and moving on to Iran, and of course aggression from the Israeli side over the Iranian territory, and of course the complete denial by the Israeli side and by the US side? Well, of the strikes came from Israel. How do you assess the situation, and how do you read it right now?
Highly complicated and disastrous, of course. And that's why our foreign minister talked yesterday to both the Iranian Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Israeli Minister of Foreign Affairs. This shows us that Egypt has all the lines in its hands. We can talk to anybody and everybody in the whole world, trying to make our life much better, trying to help our brothers in Palestine. We are doing our best to make this situation, to contain it without being spread in the region. And we were warning the whole world that it can be in a spread. Iran now is a candidate to come in. Iraq is started, part of Iraq is engaged itself for some strikes, whether against Iran or against Israel. The whole region can be in a very bad situation. And unfortunately, yesterday, we had also another obstacle concerning the full membership of the Palestinian Liberation Organization.
The United Nations.
The United States stopped taking a decision by the Security Council to adopt Palestine as a member. Now we have to face all of this.
Exactly, but can I ask you here, before I forget, with 12, backing up this decision and only the United States rejecting, can this also, deny the Palestinian membership inside the United Nations?
Although, mind you that Palestine is already a member in many other activities of the United Nations, such as UNIDO and UNCTAD and many other international organizations. And really, I don't know how the Americans explain to themselves that they are standing only by themselves against another 14 votes to the other side. And they do not explain to their people why they are taking such a decision. It is that the United States of America is using its vote totally to serve the Israeli aggression. And this is not healthy. This is not what the world we want to live in. So let us hope that day after another, with our efforts, we can stop this, or at least to have a sort of stopping the killing and start to help our Palestinian brothers with whatever they need of medicine, of water, of whatever. Israel is killing children. 13,000 children were killed. Many women, many men, old men who are not fighting at all. So this is not a war. It is a crime. It's a killing process, which we have to stop it.
Not only that, but also the Congress today is studying a bill to be funding Israel and, of course, Kiev, Ukraine, and another country. Again, in spite of all what's happening.
It's amazing to a person like myself, because a couple of weeks ago, the United States government was on the point to declare its bankruptcy. they are borrowing much more than 2.5 times their GDP, and still they are borrowing, and still they are borrowing to feed the war in Ukraine and in Palestine. Who is benefiting from this? It is the arms industry, of course. And
Of course.
it was President Eisenhower who warned us before he left his seat, telling us that it is very dangerous to make the arm maker affect the policy maker, because here we have unreasonable, without any reason, whether it is in Ukraine, whether in Pakistan, Afghanistan, everywhere around us. So, if I tell you that in the last 3 months they sold $50 billion of arms to the countries around us, that the European Union declared that it will increase their production of armaments by $100 billion. So here is one important beneficiary of this stupid war.
Talking about the nature of the strikes itself, of course, there were strikes that came overnight targeting some places in Isfahan, and also targeting also at the same time, but were denied entirely by Israel and by the United States. They had no relation to do with it whatsoever. So what exact message is trying to be delivered by the nature of the strikes?
God knows, but we have to live with this while people are striked and people are killing others and denying that they are doing this. We don't have any sort of international organization to tell us what is happening really. But don't mind about all of this, because what we are seeing on the screen now, it is a matter of continuous killing of innocent children, of innocent women, of innocent old people, and destroying the whole building on the heads of their citizens. This is not acceptable at all, and I hope with the help of the public opinion, even in the United States, and some rational Jews in Israel itself, this can take an end anytime. Because really, if I look to the future of Israel, this is not good for Israel's future. How a country can live with all its borders contain enemies, all the borders around Israel are enemies, of the Golan in Syria, killing the Palestinians, which now are almost half of the population on the Palestinian territory. What is the future for such a country? So some even Jewish wise men started in France, in Germany,
and
in the
New York.
United States, warning their government to change this policy.
Right. But then the Iranian foreign minister earlier issued a statement warning Israel that it continues to act against the interests of Iran. Then Iran is going to retaliate, and the next response would be immediate and at a maximum level. That is quite a statement, reaction to what happened. What exactly could be the repercussions of such a statement? Because do you think that Iran is going to act immediately and effectively in a way that could jeopardize the region? Do you think it is just a statement? How exactly do you assess the statement?
Iran is a big power in its region, and it cannot accept to be attacked without answering back. And Iran is a very important army. By the way, I know in my life some Iranian diplomats. They are very high level, and it is a very respectable country. We have good relations with Iran. We hope to restore our diplomatic relation also. And we are trying to use this in order to make the situation a little bit better. But Iran has all the right, if it is attacked by Israel, to answer immediately, because Iran is not any country. It is Iran. My goodness.
Right. I mean, coinciding with strikes against Iran, there were other strikes also that targeted Syria at the same time. I mean, almost at the same time. So how also do you assess the timing between both or that coincides with the same timing of the striking Iran? What kind of message, I mean, what kind of tactic, what is exactly inside the Israeli mind?
Syria also is a very sad story among the Arab family because it is occupied from the north by Turkey. It is occupied in the Golan by Israel. It has foreign forces from America, from France, name it, and Israel is attacking Syria every now and then. And the Prime Minister of Israel is declaring that Golan now is part of Israel, and unfortunately, the former president of the United States accepted this declaration. So it is a very tragic story. And after all, Syria is divided among its own people, whether Sunni or Shia or Alawi. Libya, same story. In Sudan, and we are not in good health in the Arab world. And now we have to depend on countries in the power of Egypt or the Gulf states, Algeria and Morocco, where we have some Arab countries are still standing on a very strong foot. So we can help, and we are trying to do our best.
Exactly. When we talk about Israel targeting some places inside the region, it immediately comes to our mind Syria, then Lebanon because of Hezbollah, and of course Iran and other countries. And exactly this is the scenario that is unfolding, right? But at the same time, Israel is trying to be cautious because Iran, like you mentioned, is not lenient or an enemy or a side that you can fool around with. So how exactly do you assess the coming up scenario of Israel's plans to be able to face Lebanon, parties in Lebanon, sides in Syria, and Iran on its own?
Those who they always say that I'm optimistic, but in this specific case, I cannot be optimistic at all, because the main man who are behind all these wars is the Prime Minister of Israel. And he knows that if this war get an end, he will go to jail immediately. So he inventing these wars one after another in order to prevent the process of putting him on trial and go to jail. So it's becoming personal. What can we do with a person like that? Unless the local community of Israel would see that this is dangerous for them and to change the Prime Minister.
You mentioned or you drew up a very important point, which is the worst enemy for the extreme right government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, not in the European countries and not in the East region, not even anybody who is rejecting this crazy behavior, but excuse my language, of course, but the Israelis inside the Palestinian territory themselves, the Israeli citizens, are against what's happening right now. The Jewish communities in the United States are terribly against, more than any other Arab. The Jewish community even are against it, not more than Palestinians. So with that situation, with that extreme government of Benjamin Netanyahu, with that rejection and opposition growing tensed from all Jews around the world and even Zionists around the world, how do you see the situation?
I want to add that we are not, the danger is not that we are facing an extremely right extremist government, but it is also an ignorant government, ignorant persons, where one minister of Israel declared a secret of its nuclear program. Israel never accepted to mention its nuclear program or to say whether they have nuclear weapons or not. And I asked Shimon Peres myself when I was taking care of the Israeli department in the Foreign Office. Why don't you declare whether you have the bomb or not? He said, why I make everybody satisfied? Because the secret is also annoying everybody. Now we have a minister in this cabinet declaring or threatening the Palestinians that they are going to use the nuclear arms. Very, very, very ignorant persons ruling a country with this arsenal of arms and killing everywhere around it.
Exactly.
And as you rightly said, some wise people inside Israel itself started to refuse this situation. So let us wait and see. But the good point, the only good point, in my opinion, it is the Palestinian resistance.
Yes.
I admire them. God help them. We have to give whatever it takes to help them, because their stand in their own country, resisting any trial to make them migrants, this is the atomic bomb of the Palestinian.
Exactly. And on our part here, we just express our, huge respect to the Palestinian resistance, respect to you,
Yes.
the Palestinian resistance. But going back to our topic, with you smartly now explaining to us how the Israeli side is becoming obviously to the whole world and to the United States backbone and ally as an enemy of itself. And the United States is observing that very clearly. It doesn't need no more explanation that Israel is an enemy of its own self. How do you justify the support, continuous support of the cabinet or the administration of Biden until this very moment to Prime Minister Netanyahu, in spite of all the challenges and all the threats and dangers that might come out over the Biden administration inside the United States, especially at the coming of a time where there could be elections and things like that still going on?
Yes, this it has an explanation that Israel is a very strange country. It is not a harmonized people coming from one source. Israel has 72 countries, their citizens belong to 72 countries. So they are not harmonized at all. That's why since the establishment of Israel in the 1947, it has never elected a government with 50% votes. They don't have one party which can have the majority. So it is divided among 72 interests, different interests. That's why they try to unify themselves behind one language, the Hebrew, or to give one goal, which is a killing. So no country can live with all these differences, and I hope one day this will take an end.
Exactly. On that note, hopefully, let's all cross our fingers, hoping and security inside the region and worldwide, of course. Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, Your Excellency, thank you very much. You are a former Assistant Foreign Minister, and you have a good day. Now we're going to go to a short break, and we'll come to continue the breakfast show, so stay with us.
I sat on the throne of Egypt after the death of King Tutankhamun, for he is a father god who acquired a high